Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Constructed Clash. I'm Izzet, and I'm joined by the Kling himself, the Witch Kling, Matt Kling. What's up, bub? My man?
Hey, how's it going?
Dude, is your hair as long as when you top eighted that GP?
Yeah, I would guess it's probably about the same. It's certainly not the longest it's ever been. It might be a little bit shorter than the GP top
Yeah,
8.
I just looked. I was like,
just a little
maybe
bit.
it's a little bit shorter than the GP top 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I definitely grew it. I've definitely grown it longer than that, but
Well, so today it was interesting. We were talking about Clash for a couple days, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I don't know if we're supposed to do modern. It's the end of modern season. I don't know if we're supposed to do standard because the pro tour, and then I decided, I made the executive decision, Matt, that we're just gonna play the sweetest decks from the pro tour, and I also think that they're probably the two decks that won't get a ban. Like, I expect. I talked about it on the podcast this week. If you haven't listened, check it out. But like, I think that everyone expects Monstrous Rage to get banned, and then
do they really? That's so
yeah,
crazy. Like, I was hoping for it before, back in the before times, like when they were the last time they were doing ban considerations. I was like, I really hope that they just ban Monstrous Rage, but
yeah. I think Monstrous Rage is for sure gone. And I think that it's probably Monstrous Rage and Cutter. Mason's pretty convinced that they're going to ban Omniscience.
that seems so unlikely. First of all, why ban Omniscience when you could just ban the card that brings it back, right? Like, that just seems way smarter.
Sure, I don't know. But these ones aren't getting banned. There's no chance. Both these decks that we're going to play today. So I'm going to be playing the Izzet Cauldron deck that Paulo Victor Dama de Rosa and friends played. It took first and a second in the challenge, I think on Saturday, or maybe it was Sunday. One of the two. And then you are playing the deck from Team Handshake, the green-black Roots deck. Both these decks are interesting, Matt. It was funny, before we jump on the call, you were like, I don't know how we got here. I want you to talk about that on this.
Yeah, I think for your deck, like, both of these decks are very sweet, obviously, right? But like for the Paulo deck with VV and Soul Cauldron, like I immediately looked at the deck and understood how everything kind of synergized together. I'm like, okay, I understand how we got here, right? Like, Blue Red Power was one of the best decks in the format. Like, okay, if we just like sub in a slightly more discard centric theme, and then like realize the interaction between Agatha's Soul Cauldron and VV, it's like not hard to get from point A to point B, right?
Yeah.
And I looked over this Insidious Roots deck so many times, and I just like, I don't even know what the starting point was. Like, it's just when you're just looking at the deck and you're like, okay, what's the best Insidious Root deck we can play? Like, it almost has to be a complete build around, and many of these cards just kind of like barely even fit into the game plan. Like, the Agatha's Soul Cauldron doesn't really do that much. I mean, it can certainly, like, obviously it's insane with the Adept, but the choice of only playing one makes a lot of sense once you actually read the cards in the deck. The Tyvars, similarly are like really good, specifically with Insidious Roots, and like kind of everything else. And like Overlord of the Balemark, also just kind of a tangential value engine that like mills a little bit.
Yeah. So I know from talking with Mason today that the reason this deck was played was because it's so good against the like decks with mountains. And
The green black deck was?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's what I would assume. Like, I mean, obviously 4 main deck Haywire Mites just in itself really helps a lot with that kind of thing.
We played a game yesterday with the deck in prep for this where we kept like double Haywire Mite Dragon Sniper, right? And it was good. Like, we played against a red deck and they just could not win. So clearly there are reasons for what's happening here. How do you expect this matchup to play out?
I think it's gonna really come down to how much I can interact with the thing that you're trying to do. Like, I think that if you can get an unchecked Agatha's Soul Cauldron going, I probably won't be able to win. But that being said, this deck has so many ways to do something about that. Like, I have 4 main deck Haywire Mites plus the Soul Cauldron to go with them, and also another Disenchant. I believe there's another one in the main. Maybe not. Maybe those are just the rest of them are in the sideboard, but also 2 main deck Scavenging Oozes plus the Soul Cauldron to go with those as well.
Yeah.
And,
lots of graveyard, like both decks really leaning into main deck graveyard hate and main deck like artifact hate. So
that being said, I will say that like for example, I wouldn't count the 5 mana disenchant creature that's the split card as graveyard hate or as artifact hate in this matchup, because the Agatha's Soul Cauldron you can probably just make happen all at once. Like, you can probably play Agatha's Soul Cauldron and win the game on that same turn a lot of times.
Sure. Well, let's dive out of this and let's go over the decks because we're talking about them anyway. So let's go over my deck first. We have pretty like clean mana base, in all honesty. We've got 4 Verges, 4 Shivan Reef, 4 Spider-Bluff Canal, 3 Falls, 3 Mountain, 2 Island, 2 Sanctuaries, and then it like kind of like you said, it's kind of like a mix between the Izzet deck and the discard decks that we're seeing play at like the regional championships. So there's 4 FOMO, 4 Maraudi Mako, 3 Tursa Light Shatter, and then the card that was the most surprising to me and that surprised me the most so far in playing games is the Winter Night Stories. Just be able to really draw a ton of cards and put things in your graveyard, which is really good with Prosthetic Memory. Then we got Into the Flood Maw, Agatha's Soul Cauldron, Glacial Dragon Hunt, and Abrade as kind of our other things. The sideboard is interesting to me. The reason that I say interesting is in playing this deck, there's 3 Unable to Screams and then a Scorching Shot. So clearly we wanted more removal than just Unable to Scream, and it also needed to deal 5 damage. Other than that, like I think a lot of it makes sense. Enduring Curiosity kind of lets you kind of value some things out. You've got another Spell Pierce, you've got Negates. Draconic Engineer is interesting as it has double exhaust, so you can either create a guy or you know kind of give yourself something to do. It probably won't come up in this matchup, but you know, another cheap threat. Your deck, if I can pull that up really quick. Did I not bring your deck in? I thought I did. It's right here. Your deck has two Dragon Sniper, 2 Llanowar Elves, 4 Molt Tender, 2 Rubble Belt Maverick, 4 Haywire Might, 2 how do you say this adept name?
Osteomancer.
Osteomancer Adept, 2 Cash Grab, 2 Dredger's Insight, 2 Scavenging Ooze, 2 Town Greeter. Can we just talk about the number of 2 as soon as we can? 4 Insidious Roots, 1 Agatha Soul Cauldron, 1 Quaddle Scavenger, 4 Tyvar, 4 Overlord of the Belmark, and 2 Disruptive Stormbrood.
Yeah. Well, I think that the deck, yeah, it will look weird if you're looking at it as individual cards, but like a lot of these are kind of a package deal, right? Like 2 Llanowar Elves and 4 Molt Tenders is really 6 mana dorks, right?
Right.
It's not. It barely makes sense to even count them as 4 and 2. The only reason that you would is because the Molt Tenders are just like better in a lot of ways in this deck. And then like similarly, the 2 Cash Grabs and the 2 Dredger's Insights are kind of, you know, like a 4 package, so that's not really that. It's not really that weird. And honestly, you could count the Town Greeters too. Like that's kind of just like
they're all the same card, just
Yeah, they have very similar effects. There's just 6 of them, and they all do something slightly different that you might want in different scenarios, right?
Right. So, one of the things that I found really interesting about this deck is kind of what you mentioned at the beginning. You have Tyvar and Insidious Roots is obviously like just crazy together, but the rest of the deck is kind of like value mid-rangey engine stuff. How do you think that, like, I mean, you already said you don't know, but like, how do you think that we came to this conclusion of like playing all these 2-ofs to amass this value engine?
I mean, again, I wouldn't read too much into the 2-ofs. I think that it barely makes sense to even consider these a bunch of 2-ofs, right? Like it's really just like 6. It's actually 10 2-mana mill engines, 6 1-drop mana dorks. Like I think. I mean, looking at it more, basically the idea of this deck is just to stall the game out until Insidious Roots takes the game over, right? That's the whole point here. And probably we've concluded that removal isn't the most effective way to do that in this format.
I mean, this deck says removal is bad, right? Like, it's just like, we're not even going to play it.
Right. Blocking isn't like blocking with big creatures generally also isn't that effective of a way to do it, right? Like just having a bunch of little dinky guys to block is usually better, especially if they have some kind of value on ETB or on block or on death. Just because Monstrous Rage currently exists, right? But like Monstrous Rage into a Dragon Sniper is like not even always going to be that good, right? Like you're trading 2 of your cards for my 1 mana card. You get some damage in, but it also has Death Touch, so
yeah,
it's probably going to trade unless you have Double Strike for whatever reason.
Let's go back to the other deck really quick because I want to talk about some stuff that before we get started of like this deck this Izzet deck has very clear lines of like, hey, we're trying to like get a really big Vivi and then pop off. But additionally, like there's you have Thrill Seeker, you have like the ability to like play like an aggressive game plan too. I wonder if that will be how this game plays out most of the time, just because you have stuff for Cauldron, like where I'm just forced to be the aggressor instead.
Yeah. Again, I imagine that like a lot of times you're gonna just be able to play Cauldron and still be able to do it right then. Like Scavenging Ooze is definitely gonna be probably one of the better cards against you, if not just the actual best card in the matchup.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, I think that you can win with just your regular plan of it's why the Makos and stuff exist, right? And so you're not all in on the Agatha the Soul Cauldron thing.
Yeah. All right, that is going to do it for the pre-show. Let's get into these games. All right, Matt Kling, you have won the die roll.
I'm so lucky.
You are so lucky. That's how I feel about your life.
Oh, before we get into it, if I'm recording my hand, it's going to record my audio too. Is that going to be an issue? Assuming it did that last time.
I mean, you can just mute your audio.
Yeah, okay. I think I've done that. Okay, cool. All right, I have won the die roll. I will choose to play first.
That makes sense.
That's the thing to do.
I think my hand's a mulligan. It's only got 1 land.
Yeah, my hand also only has 1 land, but I kind of might keep it.
Okay. My hand has 0 castable spells, so...
Sure, yeah, my hand does not have that.
Okay, I think I can keep this, but it's still precarious. Wow, your hand is way better than mine. Has castable spells on turn 1.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I can't even remember if your deck has, like, what your deck has for removal spells. I think they're all 2 mana, right? It's like Braid and Dragon Hunt.
Yeah. So Braid.
I have a greedy play and a safe play. I think I'm just gonna play the safe play.
That play is definitely the play that I would make, regardless of what your hand was, if you had a 1-lander. So
Sure.
I feel in trouble now. Okay. So we obviously have the ability to just like play a creature and play to the board. But if we do that and Matt has an Insidious Roots, we're kind of boned. I think we are kind of forced into this, which leads me to believe this is like a bad matchup.
Sure. I do in fact have Insidious Roots, which is what I was debating last turn. I think this turn it's just gotta be correct to just play Roots. So close to the infinite money glitch.
The infinite money glitch is what you call it?
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like an infinite money glitch.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good.
One of the things that's so crazy is like the format really likes graveyard hate in general, but Insidious Roots means that like your graveyard hate needs to be against your own graveyard, not your opponent's. I also feel very dead, so my deck does unfair things so much slower than your deck does. It helps that you like had, all the mana so much faster.
Yeah. Trying to decide if I need to respect what you're doing over here, if I can just kind of do my thing.
Oh, you debating killing this?
Yeah, I have a removal spell, or I could just cast the Ophiomancer and kind of just like make a bunch of big plants. I think that's probably fine.
Well, I feel dead now, so...
Oh, whoops, hold on. I'm actually just short mana. Oops, and I can't even undo any of this.
Haha! Let's
That's
go!
okay. Yeah, I have a second Roots in my hand, but I wasn't ever able to make that happen with any mana left over. Which begs the question of why I thought that I would have mana left over after the Ophiomancer or after the Osteomancer, but fortunately I don't think this is going to quite be enough. It's definitely strong, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to win the game next turn. You killing the Tyvar was annoying. Oh, I drew another Tyvar though because I'm great.
Really? I feel dead then. I don't actually think there's like a question now.
Yeah. I'm sure that I'm not sequencing this perfectly, but I definitely
this is gonna be 20 just on these 3 plants, right? Like,
don't think it matters.
yeah, it's already 18, so this should be lethal. Yep. All right. GG's, my friend. GG's.
Oh, hold on, you're not gonna let me do it?
No, obviously not. Not for the video. I mean, I guess maybe it's for the video.
Seems like it was worth it for the video. Yeah, I was gonna really pop off here. I'm pretty sure I could have attacked for like 150, even with just like the 3 pictures.
You're dead on board. Let me let me take 4 more minutes for this video to make it real obvious.
Okay.
Was I dead if you didn't draw that tie bar? I wasn't actually sure.
You might not have been dead. It would have still been a lot. It maybe was dead. The thing is, obviously, it wouldn't have as much mana to work with. But I had a removal spell for your FOMO, and the Osteomancer would have at least brought back multiple Haywire Mites. I think it was probably going to be lethal, but
sure,
unsure.
All right, let's go to game 2.
Oh right, I forgot that.
Yeah, you sideboarding.
We don't do the sideboard thing. I was already thinking about sideboarding.
I could tell. That's why I said something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be on the play this time. Maybe that will help me. Oh, look,
another good decision.
Another 1-lander. Okay.
Keep my hand. We don't currently have a roots, but sometimes you play without roots. There are certain matchups where it's better. Like, you can play without roots pretty well, I think, in this deck, but there are definitely matchups where you need it more than others.
All right. I do think that playing to the board is important. I don't know that my keep is like that strong in the matchup, but I actually think it's kind of a bad matchup.
I think most of your turn 1 Mako hands are probably on the stronger side of what you have.
Yeah, if I had something to do with the Mako, it would be better, but...
Sure.
If I draw a FOMO, this hand is very good. Honestly, if I draw a Mako, just literally...
I'm supposed to bin both of these.
I don't really like this because it plays into Haywire Might, but I think I'm kind of forced into it.
Sure. The sequencing on this hand is very interesting. I'm definitely unclear on what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't think I'm supposed to attack.
I think this is the right sequencing, but I could be so wrong. Okay. Well, that is not what I wanted to see. Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see if this ends up being good enough. Probably is. I had some really tough choices though that I'm not sure that I made correctly. Like I kept the 2-lander and like bin 2 lands on turn 1. So they potentially getting punished for that a little bit. And you having the Thrill Seeker was also quite strong. Like your draw panned out very, very well, right? Like I think Mako into Soul Cauldron into Winter Night Stories on the play is like
Yeah, that's why I kept it.
pretty ideal. Like, I don't think it's easy to get a lot better than that. I can appreciate that Haywire might would have done some work, but
oh, I just misclicked so bad.
yeah, I see that.
All right, well.
You just have to take this.
That sucks.
Dangerous for sure, but
that sucks a lot. We both have misclicks in this video.
yeah, mine wasn't really a misclick. It was just a miscounting, but yeah.
Mine was pretty bad, though. It made me miss a land drop.
Sure.
And it also turned off my Cauldron. Mm-hmm. So it was like, actually really bad. Honestly, it probably cost me, I mean, at least you blocking, right? So.
Not hitting a creature there might be actually too bad.
Dang, I actually think it might have cost me lethal the next turn. 8. Yeah, I think it did.
Fair. Yeah, I think I just have to go for this. I don't love it. I really wish that I had hit any creature card, but definitely going to need this to hit a creature.
Well, it did, and it hit a good one.
It hit a doozy for sure. Okay.
That sucks. Monkey butt. Yeah, it definitely cost me this game. Actually, I punted anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if I was supposed to play the other one. Okay.
I mean, I'm not like out of the woods yet, for sure. If I'd had access to 1 more mana, I would have been in much better shape. Interesting.
Well, I didn't draw the land that I needed, but I would have had the land, and I think you would be dead.
Sure.
So-
Yeah, I wonder, like, is it better to do this with the Mako? I kind of thought you were gonna do this with the Tursa.
But then it would have been one more mana.
Yeah, it would have, but it would have also made your Mako like able to attack. I don't know.
Yeah. So I wasn't supposed to play the Tersa last turn.
Okay.
I was supposed to play the play that I just made and then play Profts and make it huge.
Sure.
Because I had another Soul Cauldron. And
Okay.
and then I would have had more stuff. Okay, so let's see here. Am I dead next turn? I look dead, right?
Assuming you can't answer the Tyvar, I would guess that you're probably dead.
Maybe I should have attacked first, actually. I don't know. This deck's really hard.
Sure.
No, we're just a mana short all across all boards, and us misclicking cost us this game.
Yeah, plus me getting very lucky off the Tyvar, right? Like Tyvar
Yeah.
hitting Haywire Might specifically was pretty much the out.
I do agree with that, but I just want to mention.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Playing optimally is usually better as well.
Like I have the Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and like, like it just this one mana that this Thunderous Falls would have been. This would have been 8, but I would have had another Marauding Mako in play. Too, so like if I hit another land, which I have not yet,
sure,
but it still would have been, I would have already had another Agatha. I would have, well, I guess I wouldn't have, right? Because they're legendary, actually.
Yeah, well, you.
Oh
can,
no, the profs
cycle
would have
them,
done it though,
yeah,
because I would have already had the profs in play.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. We could go down a whole rabbit hole of what could have been. It's hard to say if you didn't.
But there was not a land on top. There was not a land on top of my deck, so I don't think that I would have gotten there. So.
Sure.
All right. Well, I will F8 this one so that you can do it.
Okay. Let's see. What exactly do I need to do here?
Not a lot. I'm at 18 and tapped out. You have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You need to cast 2 spells. Actually, am I just dead from this Moltender? Oh, why does F8 not work? Oh, because it's F8, not F6. Hold on. There you go, buddy. Yeah, I think I've misplayed like 3 turns of this game.
Sure.
And that's not even the misclick. Like, I just think that. Not to say that you're wrong. Like, you did get a little lucky, but I don't know. I think that there's still a lot that I could have done better.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, you saw me get this back last turn.
Yeah.
So this was known.
We're at 30 something?
Yeah, this is lethal. I would have had removal for a blocker potentially. Depending on what the blocker was. If you had the Mako back, doesn't work obviously, but.
No, you're missing damage. You gotta activate there, buddy.
Activate what?
Let's go to the sideboard.
I'm actually not missing damage. I didn't have any creatures left in the graveyard.
I did though. Oh, it doesn't work that way.
But my Izzet isn't attacking.
There we go. All right, let's go to the sideboard. So we'll go over my deck first. I actually don't think there's a lot for this matchup in my deck. We have we have negates and spell pierces and stuff that we could do to like try to combat your non-creature plan, but they are kind of awkward when you do have kind of the non-creatures, like the actual creatures. But I do think that like a Braid is super bad in the matchup, so like we have easy outs for that. And then I would say either Glacial Dragon Hunt or something. My spot removal just does not work in this matchup. That's not what this matchup is about.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So, funnily enough, I have to fix my deck, so hold on. Because I forgot that it doesn't work like Arena. All right, and now I have your deck up. What are you feeling for this matchup?
Yeah, I think I have a plan that I like, although I am really unsure. Like it's not like I have bad cards in the matchup or like slam dunks to bring in necessarily. What I've decided to go with is bringing in the extra 2 copies of Dragon Snipers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just being able to block your 8/8s and or at least threaten to block them is like pretty real.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring in the Canker Bloom as another way to deal with Agatha's Soul Cauldrons. I'm going to bring in the Ghost Vacuum additionally as a way to combat Agatha's Soul Cauldron as well as Winter Night Stories. And 2 copies of Go for the Throat and 1 copy of Skyfisher Spider.
Okay. Yep.
And my outs are going to be the Coatl Scavenger, the one of the Osteomancers, 1 Overlord. Those are kind of like just value cards, and I just don't think that I need to go that hard on the value in this matchup.
Definitely not.
Definitely trying to just block until I can get an Insidious Roots going. I'm going to take out 2 copies of Llanowar Elves, which is definitely a little bit awkward into you bringing in Spell Pierces, but I think that I'm already bringing in 2 extra copies of 1-drops, so
right.
Llanowar Elves loses some of its effectiveness there. And I'm taking out 2 Dredger's Insights just as that's like the worst version in the deck of the mill yourself and draw card effects.
Cool. Well, let's go to the games. All right, I will be on the play for the reverse sweep.
On the play for the reverse sweep, love it.
Another one-lander. You know what? This matchup is already hard, but only having one-landers to start the game has not been ideal. This hand seems very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my hand. It's definitely land heavy, but I know I've already taken out plenty of the mana sources in this deck, and I have a lot of the tools that I want to combat you in the matchup. So.
Green into Wabuma Maverick. Okay. Did you have any consideration? We didn't really talk about it during sideboarding, but like for Robo Maverick instead of
Taking out the
Worlds?
Rebel Belt Mavericks instead of Lavin Worlds. Not really. The Surveil 2 is honestly almost as good as a Lana World anyway.
It might have been
Definitely
a
interesting. Being on the
mistake.
draw
Go ahead.
is definitely making this a little bit hard.
Okay. Hmm.
Your board is already getting kind of terrifying. I mean, the bright side is that you only have 3 cards in hand.
So I have choice between Profs and FOMO here. I think I'm going to lead on Profs to get my FOMO bigger. Maybe. Yeah.
I think leading on Profs makes sense to me. Kind of think I might already be in chump block territory. Maybe I'm not though. They definitely are going to get scarier going forward. Maybe I just take it here.
One thing that I like is that I haven't discarded a creature, so like, you know, your scavenging ooze isn't growing from my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, not that you can't make your ooze pretty big, but
Right.
It'll cost you, you know, something to do that. Yeah. Okay. Man, this matchup feels so bad. Like,
Yeah, I have a lot of disenchants in addition to everything else. Disenchants have actually just been so good in the format so far that I've played. I'm really impressed with that. Like even the fact that Haywire Mike can kill a monstrous rage token,
yeah.
like the roll token, is pretty big.
Man, this is so hard. Oh my gosh.
That good?
No, it's that bad.
Okay, another Profs. Yeah. I kind of think that I might be supposed to just destroy the FOMO. I don't really want to take 2 attacks here.
Yeah, I think you were forced into it. That's why I did it this way.
Right. And we've got to be in chump block territory at this point. Not now, then when, right?
Yeah. What was nice out of that sequencing is that it made it so you couldn't activate ooze, but I still don't like the fact that there are 6 creatures in the graveyard.
Yeah, the ooze can definitely get fairly out of control, although I don't think that it's racing your Profs necessarily. So I'm mostly counting on Ooze to just try to combat Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Pretty interesting draw. I think I'm gonna kind of bide my time on that one though.
Well, that's annoying.
I guess I don't have to bide my time though, because you are tapped out now. So maybe. Maybe this is just fine.
Okay. And it gives you free jump rockers, right?
Does do that.
Also, it was very good because I now have double spell pierce in hand because my draw was something.
Sure. Yeah, for reference, my alternative option was another Dragon Sniper and Hold Up Ooze as well, but it's slightly better. Your draw has definitely not been unawkward. It is the third props is obviously quite awkward, and also you having double spell pierce after I've already resolved the only non-creature spell that I'm likely to need.
Yeah, I think I lose this game, but we will play it out. This matchup feels so bad. Like I feel like I played this pretty well.
Yeah,
and it is rough, my friend. Okay, so
you've played it pretty well, and it's been. I mean, I've had a pretty hateful draw, but like I wouldn't say it. This isn't like me popping off or anything, right? So like, there's
no, definitely not. So the question becomes: so you can't. You can just kill the 5/5. Do I even attack? Gosh,
the attacks do not look great to me. I'll say.
Oh my gosh. Alright, we're in big trouble now, because now we have to deal with 6 mana and an ooze that can make your guys very large. I think I just lost. I think drawing Shivan Reef there was Spell Pierce, Shivan Reef was not the 3 draws we needed.
Sure, yeah. Looks tough to me also. I don't have that much left in the tank though, but
don't you just exile your 3 cards though?
Yeah, I obviously have that available. I agree with that.
I think the question becomes like, do I exile the Rubble Bolt Maka to itself, or do I like ooze it?
I don't think I want to exile 3 because I do still want to play around Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I think that's like the only way I can lose.
Yeah. No. I don't mean all 3. I just meant like you have options of like splitting some of this.
Right. It's also going to take me a little while to win for sure.
I don't think so. I think Insidious is going to be pretty fast.
Well, my graveyard isn't infinite at the moment. I definitely need to find more ways to mill. And just spoiler alert, the last card in my hand is also a land. So.
All right. Well. All right, I need to draw Weatherlight Stories. That also works. Probably just have to get rid of both these.
Yeah, they don't seem like they're doing very much. I would say get to, really. If anything, you get to get rid of both of those.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely potentially weak to some kind of a sequence with like Into the Flood Maw, discard a Thrill Seeker, Agatha's Soul Cauldron, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I might have been supposed to attack with this 3/3, but I'm not sure.
It doesn't. It was just eat it for free.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna get rid of this while the getting's good.
What? What? That's crazy. Why would you do such a thing?
I know, right? I think I'm also supposed to get rid of one of my creatures right now just for having an extra token. Maybe I'm just supposed to do both, actually. Like, the only upside to waiting is if I draw, like, another Roots, but... Yeah, I guess I'm never attacking this turn anyway, so maybe I do just wait on that. Can also start attacking your graveyard, which will help a little bit. The question becomes if I can continue to attack with these snipers. I kind of think the answer is still yes. Like, even if you want to trade it for a Tursa, that's probably okay. Gives me more feel for Insidious Roots as well.
So, can I ask a question? How did you untap that other one?
Untap it how?
You had both of them untapped, but didn't you attack?
I'm attacking right now. What do you mean?
Oh, they have vigilance. I'm an idiot.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely not be attacking with the snipers if they did not have vigilance. That would be not a great play.
Right, so I need to draw. A Weatherlight Stories. Or I need to draw cards. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Am I 1 mana short though? Hold on. 3. I might be 1 mana short, actually. This might have been a mistake.
Okay. I mean, steps 1 and 2 are looking really strong right now, so I like what's going on here for you.
I mean, I am 1 mana short of what I was going to do.
You had the line of discard. Okay. Yeah, sure. And then you have Agatha's Soul Cauldron, but not a land.
Well, this can be an Agatha's Soul Cauldron. It's not, though.
Oh, but even if you played it, though, you'd be 1 mana short of sacking it, right? So I'd still have...
Yeah.
Not that it's bad, it's just I would still have an opportunity to find a way to answer the Soul Cauldron.
No, I did that wrong, though. Alright, well... Am I dead?
I can't imagine how it would kill you from this spot, but... This is actually kind of an interesting decision, whether you're supposed to divvy up the counters or make them make... I think you can probably divvy them up, right? Because you'll probably end up with enough Prof's triggers to be able to kill me in the event of a Soul Cauldron anyway. Plus, you'd be able to sack off more than 1 creature, yeah, so it's just definitely better to spread them, right?
I don't have a Soul Cauldron.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if we're assuming that that's your out, which it seems like it is, right? Like, I have, like, an army of chump blockers, and some of them are even traders. I'm also just going to continue to bide my time on this last creature in my graveyard, currently. hoping at some point I just find a way to fill the graveyard. Yeah, that's gonna help for sure.
That's a way to do it.
All right, I guess yeah, this one probably makes the most sense.
Okay. Okay.
And we're gonna continue to poke.
Yep.
Poke. We're definitely getting close to lethal here.
Yeah, that probably does it for you at your land. I probably was supposed to kill these dragon snipers.
Yeah, like maybe blocking with the 3/3s at some point was the way to go, for sure.
Yeah, I think that cost me the game. Let's go to the next game, and we'll take a quick break. All right, so that matchup seems bad.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think obviously we had a couple of games that didn't make it to air as well before. We tried to record this and were unable to complete it, so we decided to, for the viewers' sake, we gave them the full matchup all over again, and it ended up being a 7-0 sweep for the Golgari deck. And,
yeah, I think the fact that you can just attack and block, like, we talked a bit in the pre-show about Dragon Sniper and being confused about that card, and how I was already impressed with it in like the limited matches that we played before recording, and I was like, I'm just wrong. Like, this card is not only good in this matchup, but just like does so much for the green black deck, and literally it probably won you every game you played it.
Yeah, it's like a 1-mana Doomblade.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, well, I can't attack or block.
It's actually, yeah, it was, I mean, honestly, it probably should have been a 1-mana Doomblade a lot more than it was. I think maybe the lesson here was that, like, just trading it for almost anything is probably just correct.
Way better. Just way better. I mean, we had a game, obviously, where I was like, I definitely should have traded these earlier, so... Yeah. And then
it ended up more like a 1-mana Doomblade every turn for the whole game.
Yeah, it was like 1 mana.
Your opponent can no longer attack or block.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think that like the matchup is bad. You already have a bunch of little guys that can both chump block that provide value, and then that you get back, and that when they're in your graveyard, they provide value later in the game when you resolve one of your non-creature spells. So,
yeah, I mean, I think some of the big problems for this matchup are that, like, even just my value game plan is actually pretty good against you, right? Like, it's not even like, I think I won most of the games with the Insidious Roots, but that was only because of how long the games were, right? Like, it's not like I think I would have won plenty of those games without it in a long enough timeline. It's just that I don't know, like, I think the Cauldron deck already has a problem with chump blockers, which is generally solved by Agatha's Soul Cauldron plus Voldaren Thrillseeker, which is a great plan, except it's unplayable in this particular matchup. So just the little dinky guys that can block and attack, and Scavenging Ooze plus Haywire Might to shut off your combo is just too powerful. And then on top of all that, I think that if we're both popping off with our best draws, my deck is still just better at that. Like,
and
I've
faster.
had that's what I'm saying. I've had turn 4 wins where I had just had 50 power in play attacking. Yeah. And I'm sure that you could do it on turn 3 with just the best possible draws. So, yeah, I think that any matchup where we're considering siding out Agatha's Soul Cauldron from your deck is just a tough one.
Well, that is going to do it for Constructor Clash this week. Leave a comment. Let us know what you want to see. You can follow Matt nowhere. He's not anywhere but here. You got to leave YouTube comments. That's how you got to get a hold of him. You can follow me at Spence30H on Blue Skies. He's a Game on Twitter, every week on Constructed Criticism, and every week on the Need to Nerd podcast. Matt, thank you so much for the games, and we'll see everybody next week.